The call to transformation. Imagine waking up tomorrow feeling completely different, energized, confident, aligned with your deepest desires. Picture yourself moving through the day with clarity, purpose, and a sense of effortless flow. This is not a fantasy. This is the power that lies dormant within you. Today, I will guide you through 5 simple but extraordinary habits, practices that if embraced fully can reshape your life in just 1 week. Your mind is the fertile soil and your imagination is the seed. Everything begins here, and everything is possible. When the awakening of conscious power, close your eyes for a moment or keep them open if you wish, but allow your mind to drift inward into a space untouched by the chaos of the world. Imagine a seed buried beneath layers of soil, invisible yet pulsing with potential. That seed is your consciousness, quietly waiting for a single spark to awaken it. And today, that spark begins. You are on the threshold of a revelation so profound that it has the power to alter the course of your life in ways you have only imagined in fleeting dreams. Consider for a moment how often you have moved through life as though pulled by invisible currents, reacting to circumstance rather than shaping it. You have felt the tug of fear, the pressure of expectation, the weight of what others think you must be, and yet underneath it all, there has always been a quiet voice, a whisper that speaks of possibility, of a life not yet lived, of a power within you so vast that it could remake the world around you if only you would awaken to it. This is the beginning of that awakening. Imagine waking tomorrow not to the same old patterns, not to the endless repetition of doubt and worry, but to a reality you have designed with your imagination. Picture the sunlight spilling into your room, as if the universe itself bends to illuminate the path you are destined to walk. You rise from your bed and feel a current of energy running through you, not borrowed from coffee, not borrowed from circumstance, but your own inner vitality. Every step you take feels guided, purposeful, and aligned. This is not a fantasy. It is the natural state of a mind that knows its own power, a mind that has learned to govern its thoughts, feelings, and attention. The first lesson, and the foundation upon which every life-changing habit rests, is this: your outer world is the reflection of your inner world. Every struggle, every moment of doubt, every frustration you have endured is simply a mirror, showing you what your consciousness has accepted. If you wish to transform your reality, you must first transform the lens through which you view it. This is not abstract theory. It is practical, immediate, and alive. The mind does not distinguish between imagination and reality. The feelings you cultivate, the thoughts you embrace, the images you entertain within, these are the architects of your life. Consider the story of a traveler lost in a dense forest. Every path he takes leads to confusion. Every turn seems blocked by an invisible wall. Yet the forest is not against him. The walls he sees are not of wood or stone. They are the projections of his own mind. The moment he pauses, closes his eyes, and imagines the path open, the forest changes. Trees shift, paths reveal themselves, obstacles dissolve. So it is with life. When you shift your consciousness, when you deliberately see and feel what you desire, the outer world inevitably conforms to your inner vision. And yet, most people never take this pause. Most continue to rush through life, reacting to circumstance, believing that they must struggle and strive in order to earn a future that in reality is already seated within their own consciousness. But you are here now, at this precise moment, because you are ready to see what others ignore, that you are the unseen force behind your experience. And the sooner you embrace this truth, the sooner your life will respond to the imagination you hold. Now take a deep breath and feel the weight of possibilities settling around you. Your thoughts are not idle. They are the architects of your destiny. Your emotions are not random. They are the compass guiding you toward or away from the reality you see. Every action, every hesitation, every fleeting doubt carries significance because it signals to your own consciousness what it is to accept as real. You are far more powerful than you realize. Yet power is meaningless without direction. Awareness is the compass. Imagination is the tool. When these two align, miracles are inevitable. Let me speak plainly. Transformation is not about acquiring new skills, changing external circumstances, or seeking approval from the world. Transformation is about realigning your inner state. It is about cultivating the habits of thought, emotion, and imagination that automatically project the life you desire. This is the foundation of every change, every achievement, every moment of fulfillment you have ever craved. The outer world is merely a mirror. The inner world is the origin. Change your inner world and the outer world will follow effortlessly. inevitably beautifully. But awareness alone is not enough. You must commit to deliberate practice. The mind left untrained will drift back into old patterns. The heart, unguarded, will slip into familiar emotions of fear, doubt, and longing. Habits, small, consistent, deliberate, are the bridge between the unseen and the seen. The first step is awareness, noticing the thoughts that run unchallenged, the feelings that dominate without consent, the images that repeat nightly in your imagination. Once you see them, you can choose to replace them with something far more potent. You can choose to inhabit a life you have only dared to dream. Imagine now, a week from today. Picture yourself 7 mornings from now, waking up with clarity and purpose, having embraced 5 key habits that transform your consciousness. Feel the difference in your energy, in your confidence, in the subtle sense that life is unfolding in response to you, rather than against you. The key to this transformation is not complexity, it is consistency, imagination, and emotional alignment. 1 week is enough to create a seismic shift, if your attention, intention, and feeling are fully engaged. And so as we begin this journey together, understand this: nothing outside of you holds the power to change your reality. Every limitation, every frustration, every unfulfilled desire is a signal from your own consciousness. By learning to consciously guide your thoughts, feelings, and imagination, you step into the role of creator in your own life. The practices you will learn are simple, yet profound. They are not quick fixes. They are keys that unlock the infinite potential of your mind. As you sit here now, let this truth settle deep within your being. The life you desire is already seated within you. The world you long to experience exists first in your imagination. All that remains is for you to awaken, to commit, and to act, not in external struggle, but in conscious inner alignment. Your reality is waiting for you to claim it, but it will only respond to the state you occupy. Take a moment to feel this power. Let it fill every corner of your mind, your body, your very being. Sense the stirring of possibility. Sense the thrill of conscious creation. This is your birthright, and it is yours now, not tomorrow, not someday, but this very moment. You are ready to awaken the habits that will transform your life. In 1 week, you are ready to step into a consciousness that bends reality, not by force but by alignment. And so, with awareness awakened and imagination engaged, we turn our attention to the first of these transformative practices, the daily habit that sets the entire course of your week in motion. This next step is where theory becomes practice, where imagination begins to shape reality, and where your life begins to shift in ways you cannot yet fully imagine. Let us proceed to discover it together. 2. The power of morning alignment. Imagine a moment just before sunrise. The world is silent, holding its breath. The air is cool, almost electric with possibility, and the first rays of light begin to pierce the darkness. In this moment, everything is new. Anything can happen. Everything begins here. And so it is with your life. Each morning holds a hidden portal, a sacred window where the state you cultivate within will determine the trajectory of your entire day. How you begin is not trivial, it is decisive. This is the first habit, the foundation upon which all transformation rests, the power of morning alignment. Too often people awaken and immediately surrender their minds to the clamor of the world. Emails, notifications, schedules, demands, and the invisible pull of obligation. But the mind in those first precious minutes of consciousness is like soft clay. It is highly impressionable. What you place in it will shape the form of your day. A seed planted in distraction bears the fruit of chaos. A seed planted in clarity and vision grows into the reality you wish to inhabit. Those who have mastered their lives understand that the earliest moments of the day are sacred. They are a rehearsal for what is to come, a private stage on which you first imagine your triumphs before they manifest in the physical world. Let me paint a picture. A young artist rises before dawn. She lights a single candle, closes her eyes, and envisions the masterpiece she will create. She feels the brush in her hand, the canvas alive beneath her fingers, the colors flowing exactly as she imagined. She sees not just the painting but the applause, the joy, the transformation it brings to those who witness it. This is not fantasy, it is conscious alignment. She has planted the seed of her desire in the fertile soil of her mind, watered it with emotion, and watched it bloom long before the world even knows it exists. By the time she steps into a day, her reality has already begun to adjust to the state she occupies. This morning alignment is more than visualization. It is a deliberate act of consciousness. It is the quiet practice of saying to yourself, I am the creator of my experience. Today I will live from the state I desire, not the state I fear. Begin by choosing a moment of stillness, even if it is only 5 or 10 minutes. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Empty your mind of noise. And then, with vivid imagination, see yourself as the person you wish to be. Feel the emotions that reality would naturally evoke. Confidence, joy, peace, excitement, fulfillment. Let these emotions saturate your being. Let them radiate outward, infusing every fiber of your consciousness. The mind cannot distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is tangibly real. This is a secret often overlooked. When you feel reality as though it already exists, your subconscious begins to act in harmony with it. The world bends to your inner state because the inner always precedes the outer. You are not waiting for the world to change. You are changing yourself first. And this change, once anchored in the morning hours, becomes the invisible current, guiding every thought, every decision, every interaction throughout the day. Now imagine a day without morning alignment. You awaken distracted, reactive, and anxious. Your thoughts are unmoored, flitting between worries, obligations, and distractions. Your energy is fragmented, your mind scattered, and your inner world unanchored. The day unfolds chaotically, as if you are a leaf tossed in the wind. Contrast this with a day where you rise in deliberate alignment. Your mind is calm yet charged with purpose. Your energy is focused. Your actions are intentional, and the world itself seems to respond to the rhythm you have set. This contrast is not accidental. It is the result of where you invest your consciousness at the dawn of each day. The first habit then is not simply a practice. It is a discipline of the soul. It is the conscious decision to occupy the state of your fulfilled self before the world imposes its demands. And the beauty of it is that it is accessible to anyone at any time. It requires no special tools, no extraordinary resources, only your attention, your imagination, and your willingness to feel the reality you wish to live. Every morning is an opportunity to reset, to reclaim your power, to plant seeds that will bear fruit in ways visible and invisible. Consider the metaphor of a garden. If you want beautiful blooms, you must prepare the soil, plant seeds, and nurture them consistently. Morning alignment is the preparation of the soil. It is the fertile ground where desire meets intention. Without it, efforts later in the day may bear little lasting fruit. But with it, every interaction, every choice, every thought becomes an act of creation, contributing to the life you have imagined. And there is a subtle, almost mystical quality to this practice. When you rise in alignment, you awaken not only your conscious mind, but the deeper currents of intuition and insight. Solutions that eluded you the day before suddenly become clear. Ideas flow effortlessly. Synchronicities appear, as if the universe itself conspires to meet you where your consciousness is already residing. Morning alignment is not merely a habit. It is a portal to a reality where your inner world and outer world dance in perfect harmony. Begin by asking yourself a simple question each morning. Who do I wish to be today? What life do I choose to inhabit in this moment? Then see it, feel it, live it, emotionally, vividly, fully. Let no external circumstance dictate your state. Stand in the reality of your desire and allow it to unfold. This practice, repeated each morning, sets the foundation for habits 2 through 5, because the state you occupy first thing in the day becomes the lens through which every experience is filtered. As you embrace this practice, notice the subtle shifts. Energy becomes more abundant. Decisions feel guided, effortless, and precise. The outer world seems to bend in response, presenting opportunities and circumstances aligned with your inner state. This is not magic in the fantastical sense. It is the natural law of consciousness, that the inner precedes the outer, that imagination creates, and that feeling is the vehicle of manifestation. So as we prepare to move to the next step, the mastery of the dialogue within your mind, hold this truth firmly. The moment you awaken, you possess the power to shape your day, and in turn your life. Morning alignment is the launch pad. It is the foundation of creation. Without it, you drift. With it you command the unseen currents of your existence. Let this settle within you now. Each morning, each breath, Each quiet moment of deliberate vision is an opportunity to step into the reality you have always longed for. Begin there. Begin consciously. Begin fully. And with that foundation firmly in place, we now turn to the second habit, the mastery of inner dialogue, the conversation that occurs within the chambers of your mind, shaping every choice, every emotion, every manifestation to come. 3. Mastery of inner dialogue. Have you ever noticed the constant conversation that unfolds inside your mind, those whispers, murmurs, and proclamations that shape your perception of reality? Many move through life unaware that this inner dialogue is not mere background noise. It is the architect of their destiny. Every thought you entertain, every word you speak to yourself, every judgment or assumption silently dictates the course of your day, your decisions, and ultimately your life. Today we awaken to the understanding that mastery of this dialogue is not optional. It is essential. Imagine for a moment a room filled with mirrors. In each reflection, you see yourself as you are, but also as you imagine yourself to be. The inner conversation you hold is the lens that colors every reflection, shaping the way you perceive the world. If your dialogue is fearful, critical, or uncertain, the mirrors reflect struggle, doubt, and limitation. If your dialogue is affirming, expansive, and aligned with your desires, the mirrors reveal opportunity, courage, and possibility. The inner voice is the unseen force that molds your outer experience. Consider the story of a traveler crossing a desert. He is exhausted, disoriented, unsure of the next step. His inner voice cries, "I cannot continue. I will fail. I am alone." And so he falters, stumbles, and becomes lost. Yet another traveler facing the same expanse whispers to himself, "I am guided. Every step brings me closer. I am capable of reaching the oasis." His steps may be physically the same, but his experience is entirely different. The inner dialogue does not simply comment on reality. It creates it. One voice leads to despair, the other to triumph. Your mind is a fertile field, and your inner words are seeds. Choose them wisely. Speak to yourself with intention, not habit. Begin to notice the statements you repeat daily. "I am not ready. I cannot do this. This is too hard." And understand that these are not idle phrases. They are declarations that shape the neural pathways of your consciousness and ultimately the conditions you attract into your life. Replace them deliberately. Speak in the language of possibility, of abundance, of mastery. Say to yourself, "I am capable. I am worthy. I am already the person I aspire to become." The moment you do, a subtle but unstoppable shift begins within. Now imagine a river, wide and strong, carving its path through the land. If the river is dammed, blocked by debris, its flow is interrupted, stagnant, and uncertain. But if the river flows freely, it nourishes everything it touches, shaping the land, giving life, and moving with unstoppable energy. Your inner dialogue is that river. When it flows in alignment with your desires and higher self, it transforms your consciousness and consequently the world around you. When it is blocked by negativity, fear, or self-doubt, it stagnates, and your outer reality mirrors that stagnation. The mastery of inner dialogue requires vigilance and awareness. Begin by listening, not judging, but listening. Notice the tone of your thoughts, the rhythm of your self-talk. Observe how often your mind drifts to worry, criticism, or comparison. Awareness is the first step because you cannot change what you do not see. Once observed, you can intervene, interrupt the narrative that limits you. Speak a new story. Feel the truth of your words as if they are already real. Let the emotion behind your inner statements carry conviction. Feeling is the fuel that gives your words the power to reshape reality. This practice is both subtle and profound. At first it may feel strange to consciously guide your inner conversation. The mind will resist. Old habits cling like shadows. But persistence transforms resistance into familiarity. Day by day you become fluent in the language of your higher self, the dialogue of possibility. You begin to notice that your thoughts precede your actions and that your feelings precede your circumstance. This is not coincidence. It is the law of consciousness made visible. Imagine a gardener tending to plants. Some plants are hardy, others delicate. Some flourish with care, others wither if neglected. Your inner dialogue is the gardener of your reality. Speak harshly, doubtfully, or impatiently, and the garden of your life struggles to grow. Speak with clarity, encouragement, and vision, and the garden blooms with vibrancy and abundance. Every relationship, every opportunity, every moment of joy is a reflection of the garden you cultivate inside. And there is a subtle art in this mastery. It is not about ignoring reality or pretending that challenges do not exist. It is about consciously choosing which aspects of reality you will feed and which you will release. When you notice negative thoughts, you do not fight them with resistance. You simply redirect your mind to the reality you wish to experience. Replace the story of limitation with the story of possibility. Replace fear with trust, scarcity with abundance, doubt with faith. This is the essence of inner mastery, the deliberate creation of the narrative that shapes your life. As you practice this, something remarkable occurs. Your inner dialogue begins to harmonize with your imagination, your feelings, and your actions. You start to see how seamlessly thoughts, words, and emotions work together to manifest your desires. The world outside may still appear chaotic, but inside you have cultivated a space of control, clarity, and creative authority. You are no longer a passive observer of life. You are its conscious author. Now pause and reflect. What would it feel like to spend every day speaking to yourself as your highest self? To embrace every thought, every word, every feeling as a tool of creation. The energy of your inner voice would flow through every aspect of your life, influencing your decisions, relationships, opportunities, and experiences. This is not fantasy. It is practical, attainable, and immediate. 1 week of consistent practice in conscious inner dialogue is enough to reveal profound changes, a subtle magnetism that begins to draw circumstances in alignment with your vision. And so we arrive at the threshold of a new understanding. The dialogue within is not incidental. It is not trivial. It is the invisible hand that shapes every visible outcome. The mastery of this dialogue requires focus, discipline, and imagination. Begin each day by observing your thoughts. Intervene consciously. Speak with intention. Feel your words as reality. And then watch as the world subtly, inevitably, begins to respond. As we move forward, the next step builds directly upon this mastery. If morning alignment sets the stage and inner dialogue directs the flow, then the next practice is the deliberate cultivation of vision, the art of seeing your desires as already fulfilled, vividly and in living color. It is one thing to speak new words to yourself. It is another to inhabit the reality those words describe. The transition from thought to imagination, from dialogue to vision, is where transformation accelerates. Hold this truth in your mind as we prepare to step forward. Mastery of inner dialogue is not just about changing your thoughts. It is about consciously shaping the river of consciousness that carries you toward your highest potential. Speak wisely, feel deeply, imagine fully, and now let us journey together into the next habit, the practice that turns inner conversation into living, tangible reality. 4. The transformative power of a deliberate visualization. Close your eyes and picture a life untouched by limitation, a life that exists first in the sanctuary of your imagination. See it in the richest detail. Feel it in the deepest part of your being. Hear the whispers of joy and triumph, as if they are echoing in the very air around you. This is not fantasy. This is the practice of deliberate visualization, a habit that transforms mere thought into lived reality. Here the invisible begins to mold the visible, and the imagination becomes a bridge between the world you know and the world you long to inhabit. Imagine a sculptor standing before a block of marble. To the untrained eye, it is nothing more than a cold, lifeless stone. But the sculptor sees possibility. He sees the figure trapped inside, waiting for form and freedom. Each chisel strike, each careful contour is guided by vision. Without vision, the marble remains inert. Without deliberate visualization, your life remains a raw block, untouched by the shaping power of your consciousness. Your imagination is the chisel. Your feelings are the guiding hand. Together they carve the life you are destined to live. Deliberate visualization is not daydreaming. It is not idle fantasy. It is an active, intentional inhabitation of the reality you wish to create. Begin by choosing a desire, a goal, a state of being, an outcome you wish to manifest. Do not simply think of it. Live it in your mind as though it already exists. Picture every detail, the environment, the people, the sensations, the subtle emotions that accompany it. Hear the laughter, feel the peace, taste the satisfaction, sense the relief, and allow these feelings to fill every cell of your body. When imagination is charged with feeling, it becomes a force that bends circumstances to your inner state. Consider the story of a wanderer who dreamed of crossing a vast ocean. He did not yet have the vessel, the crew, or the map, but each night he imagined the waves beneath him, the sun rising on the horizon, the wind in his hair, and the thrill of reaching distant shores. That mental rehearsal prepared him for the challenges to come, aligning his subconscious mind with solutions, opportunities, and courage he did not yet consciously know he possessed. By the time he embarked on his journey, the imagined voyage had already laid the invisible path for his success. This is the law of deliberate visualization. The unseen reality, vividly imagined and emotionally felt, precedes the tangible manifestation. Your mind cannot distinguish between what is deeply felt in imagination and what occurs in the external world. Every time you immerse yourself in a vision as though it were present, your subconscious mind registers it as truth, and your actions, your attention, and the circumstances around you begin to adjust accordingly. What was once distant becomes imminent. What was once impossible becomes inevitable. Now let us deepen this practice. It is not enough to see the outcome. You must inhabit the state of fulfillment. Close your eyes and imagine the version of yourself who has already achieved the desire. Feel their confidence, their peace, their joy. Sense the gratitude flowing through their being. The trick is not simply to visualize an event. It is to embody the self who naturally experiences that event. The external world is a mirror, and it reflects the internal state. When your consciousness inhabits the reality you wish to manifest, the world cannot help but conform. Many stumble here because they attempt to visualize without feeling, or to picture outcomes without inhabiting the emotional state that accompanies them. Imagine attending a grand celebration but standing outside the hall, peering in through a window. You see it, but you do not experience it. There is a vast difference between observing a dream and living it internally. Deliberate visualization requires that you step inside the hall, breathe the air, hear the voices, and feel the triumph as though it is already yours. Only then does your imagination wield the power to Consider too the rhythm of repetition. One session of visualization may plant a seed, but consistency nourishes it. Morning, noon, or evening, take moments to immerse yourself in the life you desire. Reinforce it with clarity, conviction, and emotional intensity. Every repetition strengthens the neural pathways in your mind, aligning thought, feeling, and action. The universe, or your own creative consciousness, recognizes this consistent state and begins to orchestrate circumstances in harmony with it. And here lies the secret that most overlook. Deliberate visualization is not about forcing reality, but about aligning with the reality that already exists in the unseen. You are not trying to create from nothing. You are stepping into a pre-existing blueprint within your consciousness. This blueprint responds to focus, feeling, and attention. The life you wish to live is not created outside. It already exists in the infinite field of your imagination. Visualization is simply the conscious act of inhabiting it. Now let us bring this closer to daily life. You may have desires for relationships, career success, financial freedom, or inner peace. Each can be vividly imagined and emotionally inhabited. Picture a day in which these desires are fulfilled. See yourself moving through the day with the ease of someone whose life has already aligned with their goals. Feel the flow of opportunities, the subtle confirmations, the gratitude, the joy. Hold this state for a few minutes. Let it saturate your being. This practice, repeated daily, rewires your perception and prepares you to act in harmony with your vision. Visualization also bridges the gap between imagination and action. When you inhabit the life you wish to create internally, your mind begins to generate solutions and opportunities in the external world. You begin to act in ways that feel natural, guided by the internal reality you are embodying. The river of consciousness begins to flow, carrying you toward your dreams with effortless momentum. Finally, remember this. Visualization is a sacred practice. It is the deliberate cultivation of inner reality, the rehearsal of life before it manifests outwardly. It is both a science and an art, blending clarity, feeling, and imagination into a single transformative practice. Done consistently, it has the power to alter your circumstances, reshape your consciousness, and awaken you to the infinite possibilities that await. As we prepare to move forward, hold this insight. Morning alignment sets the stage. Mastery of inner dialogue shapes your consciousness, and deliberate visualization breathes life into the unseen. The next step builds upon this foundation. It is the cultivation of gratitude, the emotional amplifier that accelerates manifestation, transforms perception, and magnetizes the life you are now imagining. Step forward into gratitude with an open heart, ready to experience the profound shift that comes when feeling and imagination converge. The unseen is ready to respond. The world awaits your consciousness. Let us move into the next habit together. 5. The amplifying power of gratitude. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Imagine a force so powerful it can transform every circumstance, every challenge, every limitation you have ever faced. Imagine a current so invisible yet so potent that it bends reality toward abundance, joy, and fulfillment. That force is gratitude, the deliberate, conscious acknowledgement of the blessings that already exist within your life. This is not a casual habit, a fleeting sentiment, or polite manners. It is the emotional fuel that accelerates the manifestation of your desires. Gratitude is the amplifier of consciousness, the magnet that draws into your experience the very life you envision. Think for a moment of a musician tuning an instrument before a performance. Without precise tuning, the notes may sound harsh, discordant, incomplete. Yet, with deliberate attention to harmony, the music flows effortlessly, touching hearts, moving souls, and leaving an indelible mark on all who hear it. Gratitude tunes your inner world. It aligns your vibration with the frequency of abundance. It prepares your mind, your emotions, and your imagination to resonate in harmony with the reality you wish to manifest. Without it, your inner orchestra struggles. With it, your life becomes symphony composed by the conscious direction of your heart. Picture a traveler lost in a vast, arid desert. He is weary, uncertain, parched, and anxious. Yet, each time he notices a small drop of water, each time he acknowledges a glimmer of shade, he draws strength, clarity, and hope. Gratitude transforms perception. It does not change the desert. It changes the traveler. It allows him to perceive opportunity where before he saw only obstacle, possibility where before he saw only limitation. Every moment of gratitude expands consciousness, opening doors that were invisible to a mind preoccupied with lack. Gratitude, when practiced deliberately, does something extraordinary. It reverses the polarity of your attention. Humans are wired to notice absence, scarcity, and challenge. It is the natural tendency to focus on what is missing, to linger on what has not yet been achieved. But conscious gratitude directs attention to what is already present, to what is already good, to what is already working. And the moment your focus shifts, the universe responds not by coincidence, but by the immutable law of consciousness. Attention energizes reality. What you dwell upon expands. Begin today by cultivating a practice of gratitude that goes beyond polite acknowledgement. Do not simply list things you appreciate. Feel them. Feel the sun warming your face, the breath moving in and out of your body, the quiet pulse of life itself. Feel the abundance that exists even amidst challenges. Let your heart swell with appreciation for the unseen mechanisms, the hidden currents, the synchronicities that bring you to this very moment. Let gratitude saturate your being. Let it ripple outward, and notice how your experience begins to shift immediately. Consider the story of a gardener tending a plot of land. Each seed, each sprout, each bloom thrives not merely because of soil or sunlight alone, but because the gardener observes with care, nourishes intentionally, and rejoices in every stage of growth. Gratitude is the attention that nourishes life. It is the acknowledgement that what exists, no matter how small, is worthy of celebration, and in doing so, it multiplies what is present and attracts what is desired. The soil of consciousness, enriched with appreciation, yields far greater harvest than soil left barren. Gratitude is not passive, it is dynamic. It is the conscious choice to inhabit the emotional state of fulfillment even before the external conditions fully align. Imagine standing before a door you long to open. You do not beg the door to move. You imagine yourself already passing through it. You feel the freedom and joy of crossing the threshold. And in that feeling, the mechanism of reality begins to respond. Gratitude functions in precisely this way. It signals to consciousness that the life you envision is already here in some unseen form. It tells your mind and heart, I am ready to receive. This practice transforms ordinary moments into profound opportunities for expansion. The cup of tea in the morning, the smile of a stranger, the warmth of sunlight, each can be felt deeply, acknowledged consciously, and magnified into a current of abundance. Over time, this practice rewires your perception. You begin to notice not the absence, but the present, not the lack, but the fullness, not the limitation, but the boundless potential of life itself. 1 week of consistent gratitude practiced with intensity and feeling is enough to shift your entire consciousness toward attraction, alignment, and effortless creation. Now imagine pairing gratitude with deliberate visualization. You have already begun to inhabit the reality you desire internally. Now you imbue that vision with appreciation, as though it already exists. Feel the life you are imagining as a present gift. Rejoice in the experiences, the successes, the connections, the abundance. Notice how your emotional state expands, how your attention sharpens, how synchronicities and opportunities begin to appear where before there was only uncertainty. Gratitude is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. It is the force that accelerates the unseen into the seen. And here is a subtle, yet profound truth. The depth of your gratitude determines the velocity of your result. Superficial acknowledgement may feel good, but it does little to transform consciousness. True, immersive, emotional gratitude, feeling it in every cell of your body, realigns your energy with the vibration of fulfillment itself. It acts as a beacon, drawing circumstances, people, and experiences toward you with remarkable precision. The life you imagine, once saturated with gratitude, begins to organize itself around your state. Gratitude also cultivates resilience. Challenges are inevitable, yet they lose their power when viewed through the lens of appreciation. Even setbacks become lessons, opportunities, and prompts for creative adjustment. By acknowledging what is working, by feeling the blessings present in each moment, you transform obstacles into fuel for growth. The mind aligned with gratitude does not resist life. It orchestrates it, harmonizes with it, and amplifies its creative potential. Finally, remember this. Gratitude is not merely an emotion. It is a practice, a discipline, and a deliberate act of consciousness. It is the amplifying habit that ensures every thought, every visualization, and every inner dialogue resonates with the energy of manifestation. It is the bridge from the imagined to the tangible, from the unseen to the seen. When morning alignment, mastery of dialogue, deliberate visualization, and gratitude converge, the foundation of transformation becomes unshakable. As we prepare to move into the next phase, the cultivation of deliberate, conscious action, hold this insight. Gratitude is the fuel that empowers action. Without appreciation, effort becomes mechanical, hollow, or anxious. With gratitude, every movement, every step, every decision carries the energy of fulfillment, alignment, and creative authority. The next habit is the embodiment of the life you have imagined, amplified by the emotional current you have cultivated. It is the practice that transforms vision into tangible reality. Step forward into action with an open heart, guided by gratitude, and let us continue the journey into deliberate, inspired steps that align your inner state with the unfolding of your highest potential. 6. The habit of inspired action. Imagine standing on the edge of a vast ocean, the waves stretching to the horizon, the sky painted with colors you have never fully seen, the breeze carrying the scent of distant lands. Before you lies the water, vast and deep, filled with possibilities but also unknown challenges. You could linger on the shore, mesmerized by its beauty, imagining the adventure that waits, or you could step forward and let your feet meet the water, letting movement transform potential into reality. This, my friends, is the essence of inspired action, the bridge between imagination and tangible experience. For too long, many of us have believed that thought, visualization, or gratitude alone are enough to create life. Yet while these practices are powerful, they are incomplete without the deliberate translation of inner state into outward movement. Action is the manifestation of intention, the visible echo of your invisible alignment. But not all action is equal. Mechanical, forced, anxious efforts may move the body but often leave the soul stagnant. Inspired action, on the other hand, flows naturally from the inner alignment you have cultivated. The harmony of vision, dialogue, feeling, and gratitude. Picture an archer drawing a bow. If he merely pulls the string without focus, without sighting the target, the arrow will miss. If he aligns his body, breathes, sights the mark, and releases with intention, the arrow flies true. So it is with inspired action. Your intentions, aligned with inner clarity and emotional conviction, become the guidance that directs your efforts toward the life you envision. Without inner preparation, action may scatter energy. With alignment, action becomes unstoppable, precise, and effortless. Consider the story of an inventor who dreamed of creating a device that would change lives. He spent months imagining its design, visualizing its function, feeling the satisfaction of its success. Yet it was only when he took inspired action, assembling pieces, experimenting, failing and adjusting, that the vision materialized. Every step was guided not by obligation or pressure, but by the inner certainty that the outcome already existed in potential form. The act of creation flowed naturally, like a river guided by unseen currents, and eventually the external world mirrored the internal blueprint. Inspired action is not about rushing or force. It is about listening to the inner voice, responding to subtle guidance, and moving when the momentum within compels you. The universe conspires not against you, but for you. When you act from alignment, every opportunity that appears, every coincidence, every insight is a signal, a prompt to take the next step. The moment of hesitation or doubt can turn potential into delay. The moment of decisive, aligned action transforms possibility into reality. Imagine a dancer learning a new choreography. Repetition alone is not enough. The dancer must feel the music, embody the rhythm, let the movement flow from the core. Action without feeling is empty. Feeling without action is unrealized. Inspired action unites these elements. It is the dance of your inner state expressed in the external world. When your thoughts, feelings, gratitude, and imagination are aligned, the body becomes the instrument through which creation flows. Every step you take resonates with the energy of manifestation. This habit requires courage. There will be moments when the next step seems unclear, when fear whispers, you are not ready, or you might fail. But remember, the future already exists in your consciousness. Your role is to act in accordance with the reality you are embodying, not the limitations you perceive in the present. Every inspired step carries the weight of unseen forces, drawing resources, guidance, and opportunities toward you. The first action, no matter how small, often catalyzes an avalanche of progress that would have seemed impossible from the shore. Reflect on a seed planted in fertile soil. It does not grow instantly, but with each moment it absorbs sunlight, draws nourishment, and extends roots. The gardener cannot force the sprout, but deliberate, consistent care accelerates its growth. Inspired action works similarly. Small, consistent steps, taken from alignment, compound exponentially. Each act of courage, creativity, or initiative builds momentum, shaping circumstances to match your inner vision. Over time, what once required tremendous effort now flows naturally, effortlessly, and powerfully. And there is another dimension. Inspired action cultivates trust. The more you act from alignment, the more you recognize the intelligence of your own inner state. You begin to see patterns, guidance, and synchronicities that confirm your path. Your confidence deepens not from external validation, but from the awareness that your inner reality precedes the outer, and that the universe responds to the state you occupy. Action is no longer a gamble, it becomes a conscious dance with the unseen currents that support your life. Consider too the ripple effect of action. One deliberate step can influence relationships, open doors, and shift circumstances far beyond what you initially perceived. The world responds to the energy behind your actions. Fearful or reactive movements create friction, obstacles, and resistance. Inspired movements create harmony, alignment, and effortless progress. The practice of inspired action is therefore both a personal discipline and a universal conversation, a way in which your inner state communicates with the world, reshaping it to reflect your vision. Begin by asking yourself each morning, what is the next inspired step that aligns with the life I am imagining? Listen attentively, trust the subtle nudges, the ideas that spark with excitement, the opportunities that feel naturally right. Then act, swiftly, deliberately, and fully. Do not wait for conditions to be perfect. Inspired action is never about the perfect moment. It is about acting from the alignment you have cultivated and letting the universe adjust around your movement. Finally, understand this. Action without alignment may move the body, but it cannot shape destiny. Alignment without action may feel satisfying internally, but it cannot influence the outer world. Inspired action bridges these two. It transforms thought into experience, vision into reality, potential into manifestation. It is the heartbeat of creation expressed through your life. As we prepare to move into the next habit, the cultivation of conscious patience and trust, remember this: inspired action is not a frantic scramble, but a deliberate, aligned step into the reality you have imagined. You have aligned your mornings, mastered your inner dialogue, visualized your desires, and amplified your consciousness with gratitude. Now, with inspired action, you translate all of this into motion. The next habit will teach you how to allow the unseen currents of your effort to unfold naturally, without resistance, doubt, or impatience.
completing the cycle of conscious creation. Step forward boldly, knowing that every inspired step taken from alignment sets in motion forces that will shape your life beyond measure. And as you do, prepare to enter the transformative practice of patience, the quiet, powerful state of trust that allows your inner reality to manifest fully in the outer world.
7. The transformative power of patience and trust. Imagine standing on the edge of a vast forest at twilight. The path before you is shrouded in shadows. The sounds of unseen life fill the air, and the horizon is uncertain. You can see only the first few steps, and yet you know that if you begin to walk, the journey will reveal itself gradually, moment by moment. This is the essence of patience. The deliberate choice to move forward without forcing outcomes, to trust in the unseen forces that support every step, and to allow life to unfold in perfect timing. Patience is not passive, it is active faith, a quiet strength that harnesses the currents of creation rather than resisting them. Many struggle with impatience because they confuse effort with control. They push, they strain, they demand results, yet they fail to recognize that the seeds they have planted in consciousness require time to grow. A gardener does not yank seedlings from the soil to force growth. He waters them, tends them, and trusts the natural rhythm of life. So too must you nurture your desires with patience, allowing the internal alignment you have cultivated through morning clarity, inner dialogue, visualization, gratitude, and inspired action to manifest outwardly in its own time. Picture a river winding through a valley. Its current is unstoppable, yet it moves at its own pace, following the contours of the land, carving paths through stone and soil. You cannot force the river to rush. You cannot command the current. Your role is to step into its flow, to align with its rhythm, and to trust that it carries you exactly where you are meant to go. Impatience disrupts this flow. Trust allows it to accelerate your journey in ways unseen but profoundly powerful. Patience is deeply intertwined with trust. To be patient is to trust that your inner work, your alignment, your gratitude, your visualization, your inspired action is sufficient. You have set the stage within your consciousness. The unseen world has already begun to respond. Your role is to maintain the emotional and mental state that mirrors the reality you desire, even when external circumstances appear contrary. Every moment of doubt, every anxious thought is a misalignment that delays manifestation. Patience and trust are the shields that protect your inner harmony, allowing creation to unfold unhindered. Consider the story of a sculptor shaping a magnificent statue from a block of marble. Each strike of the chisel must be deliberate, precise, and patient. Too hasty, and the marble may crack. Too uncertain, and progress stalls. The sculptor knows the form exists within the stone, yet it requires time, attention, and trust in the process to reveal itself fully. So it is with your desire. You have planted the inner seed, aligned your consciousness, and taken inspired steps. Now allow time and trust to shape your external reality, without forcing, without rushing, and without surrendering your inner state to fear. Patience also deepens your capacity for awareness. In moments of stillness, when the impulse to rush fades, you begin to notice subtle signals, the opportunities that appear quietly, the synchronistic events, the people and circumstances that naturally fall into place. Impatience blinds you to these currents. Trust opens your eyes, allowing you to recognize the invisible scaffolding that supports your life. Every delay, every pause, is a hidden invitation to align more deeply, to refine your inner state, and to prepare for the next inspired step. Imagine planting a tree in fertile soil. The roots grow long before the branches blossom. The nourishment occurs silently beneath the surface. Likewise, the results you seek are developing in unseen realms of consciousness. Patience allows the roots to establish themselves firmly. Trust ensures that the branches will reach for the sky in their perfect season. Your responsibility is to remain aligned, to feel fulfillment internally, to maintain clarity and gratitude, and to allow the external world to catch up with your inner reality. Patience is not resignation. It is not waiting passively for something to happen. It is an active, engaged state of being, where you maintain inner alignment, observe opportunities, and act decisively when the moment is right. Impatience often leads to scattered energy, reactive decisions, and missed opportunities. Trust, in contrast, allows you to act from clarity, confidence, and timing that is in harmony with the natural order of life. It transforms waiting into preparation, hesitation into strategy, and uncertainty into faith. The interplay of patience and trust also strengthens resilience. Challenges and delays are inevitable,
But when faced with calm assurance, they become catalysts for growth, rather than obstacles. Trust allows you to see every setback as temporary, every challenge as a teacher, and every delay as a necessary alignment with the greater unfolding of your life. Patience provides the emotional stability to endure without resistance, while trust assures that the desired outcome is already in motion, responding to the consciousness you have cultivated. Imagine a musician learning a complex symphony. The notes may be difficult, the rhythm demanding, the harmony elusive, yet with patience the musician practices each passage deliberately, slowly, mastering each movement with trust that the full performance will emerge. So too must you approach your life. Each moment of alignment, every act of gratitude, every inspired step, is a note in the symphony of your reality. Patience and trust allow the composition to emerge perfectly, in harmony with the deeper currents of creation. Finally, understand that patience and trust amplify every habit you have already cultivated. Morning alignment is strengthened by the calm certainty that the day will unfold in your favor. Mastery of inner dialogue is deepened by the confidence that your words are shaping the world, even when evidence is not yet visible. Visualization is empowered by the understanding that your imagined reality is already preparing to manifest. Gratitude resonates more deeply when coupled with the awareness that all good is already present, unfolding naturally. Inspired action flows more effortlessly when you trust the unseen currents that carry your efforts toward fruition. As you integrate patience and trust into your daily practice, you begin to embody a state of consciousness that is unshakable. You are no longer tossed by circumstance, delayed by fear, or frustrated by apparent setback. Instead, you move with the rhythm of life, confident that every inner effort, every alignment, every conscious choice is already producing the desired effect. You exist in harmony with the creative forces that respond to consciousness, and you cultivate a profound serenity that accelerates manifestation. Now, as we prepare to move into the next habit, hold this insight. Patience is not the absence of action. It is the presence of trust. It is the quiet power that ensures all previous habits, from alignment to inner dialogue, visualization, gratitude, and inspired action, reach their full potential. The next step will reveal the habit of conscious reflection and review, a practice that allows you to refine, adjust, and perfect your inner alignment, ensuring that every day becomes a building block in the life you are creating. Step forward with the confidence that comes from trust, the serenity that comes from patience, and the certainty that the currents of life are carrying your desires toward fulfillment. Prepare to enter the transformative habit of conscious reflection, where awareness meets refinement, and your inner state is perfected to manifest the life you have long envisioned.
8. The habit of conscious reflection. Picture yourself standing on a mountaintop as the first light of dawn breaks over the horizon. The world below is vast, shimmering, and full of possibility. The breeze carries the scent of growth, of life awakened, and every detail is sharp, vivid, and alive. In this moment, clarity comes, not from doing more, not from rushing, but from pausing and observing, from consciously reflecting on the journey that has brought you here. This is the practice of conscious reflection, the habit that allows your mind, heart, and soul to evaluate, refine, and perfect the life you are creating. Conscious reflection is the mirror that reveals both the progress you have made and the subtle misalignments that may still linger. Without it, life moves forward, but often without awareness, without intention, without the opportunity to correct course before energy is wasted or momentum falters. Imagine a captain steering a ship through foggy water. Without regular observation of the compass, the waves, and the stars, even the most experienced navigator risks veering off course. Reflection is your compass. It allows you to navigate life with precision, insight, and conscious choice. The power of reflection is amplified when combined with the habits you have already cultivated. Morning alignment gives you awareness. Mastery of inner dialogue shapes your consciousness. Visualization opens the doorway to possibility. Gratitude amplifies the energy of manifestation. Inspiration translates vision into movement. Patience and trust allow the unseen currents to unfold naturally. Reflection is the lens through which all of these habits are examined, understood, and perfected. It transforms experience into wisdom, and wisdom into refined action. Imagine a painter standing before a nearly finished canvas. Each brushstroke contributes to the final image, yet some strokes may be imperfect, colors may clash, or shadows may fall out of balance. By stepping back and observing, the painter identifies where adjustments are needed, where refinement will enhance the overall harmony. Conscious reflection works in precisely this way in your life. It allows you to step back from the flow of experience and see clearly what is working, what is misaligned, and what requires adjustment. Reflection also deepens your connection to your inner guidance. In the quiet observation of your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you begin to notice patterns, subtle cues that indicate where you are aligned or where fear, doubt, or old conditioning may still interfere. By acknowledging these patterns without judgment, you gain insight and clarity, and you can consciously redirect your energy to restore alignment. Reflection is not criticism, it is the gentle, observant hand that fine-tunes the machinery of your consciousness. Consider the story of a sculptor examining a nearly finished statue. He does not see the imperfections as failure, but as opportunities for refinement. Each adjustment, each careful stroke, brings the form closer to perfection. Similarly, conscious reflection allows you to see your life as a work in progress, a masterpiece being revealed moment by moment. Every thought, every decision, every action can be observed, evaluated, and aligned with the vision of the person you are becoming. The practice of reflection requires both honesty and compassion. You must observe without blame, without self-criticism, and without attachment to the past. Recognize the choices that have served you well, acknowledge the moments where energy was scattered, and consciously decide how to proceed with greater alignment. This habit transforms mistakes into lessons, obstacles into stepping stones, and ordinary moments into opportunities for conscious growth. Imagine a river flowing through a valley. Sometimes it encounters rocks, fallen branches, or narrow passages that slow its progress. Reflection allows you to see the path ahead, to adjust your approach, and to navigate with greater ease and efficiency. It does not stop the river, nor does it control the flow. It simply provides awareness and direction, ensuring that every movement contributes to the journey rather than being lost in chaos. Your life too flows more smoothly when reflection is practiced deliberately and consistently. Reflection also strengthens your ability to anticipate and prepare. By regularly reviewing your inner state, your actions, and your alignment with your desires, you can identify patterns before they manifest fully in the external world. You notice where your energy is focused, where attention is scattered, and where conscious choice can enhance results. This is not merely observation, it is active refinement, the ongoing calibration that ensures your inner state is always tuned to the frequency of your desire. Furthermore, conscious reflection allows you to celebrate growth. Too often, we move through life without recognizing the progress we have made, focusing instead on what is missing. Reflection illuminates the journey, highlighting achievements, milestones, and subtle shifts in consciousness that indicate transformation is underway. Gratitude combined with reflection magnifies this awareness, allowing you to rejoice in every step, every alignment, and every act of inspired creation. Begin by dedicating a few minutes each day to conscious reflection. Observe your thoughts, emotions, actions, and results. Ask yourself, where am I aligned with my highest vision? Where does adjustment or refinement serve me? How can I maintain or strengthen the habits that are creating the life I desire? Allow insights to emerge naturally, without force, and integrate them into your practice. Reflection is a conversation with your inner self, a dialogue that reveals wisdom, clarity, and guidance. The subtle power of reflection lies in its ability to transform ordinary awareness into extraordinary creation. When practiced consistently, it acts like a magnifying glass, focusing your energy on the areas that produce the greatest results. You notice when visualization is most effective, when gratitude is deepest, when inspired action flows effortlessly, and when patience and trust are most needed. In this way, conscious reflection amplifies all the habits you have cultivated, ensuring that each day becomes a building block in the life you are intentionally creating. Finally, understand that reflection is not a one-time activity, it is a continuous practice. Life is dynamic, consciousness is evolving, and circumstances shift. By integrating reflection into your daily routine, you maintain awareness, adjust course, and refine alignment constantly. You create a living feedback loop where observation, insight, and action reinforce each other, producing exponential growth and transformation. As we prepare to move into the next habit, the cultivation of unwavering self-belief and inner certainty, remember this. Conscious reflection illuminates the path, allowing you to correct, refine, and optimize your inner alignment. It transforms experience into insight, and insight into intentional, empowered action.
The next step builds upon this awareness, equipping you with the unshakable certainty needed to inhabit your desires fully and manifest your highest potential. Step forward now with clarity, insight, and heightened awareness, ready to enter the transformative practice of unwavering self-belief, a habit that will consolidate every inner practice into the magnetic force of creation.
9. The habit of unwavering self-belief. Imagine standing in the eye of a storm surrounded by chaos, uncertainty, and voices of doubt. Yet in the center there is a calm, unwavering presence, a deep knowing that no matter what rages outside, your inner world remains sovereign. This is self-belief, the unshakable certainty that you are capable, worthy, and aligned with the life you are creating. It is not arrogance, not blind hope, but a profound recognition that your consciousness is the ultimate architect of reality, and that your inner conviction shapes the outer world with precision and inevitability. Self-belief begins with acknowledgement, the acknowledgement that you are more than circumstance, more than past failures, more than the opinions and judgments of others. Picture a seed buried beneath the soil. No one sees its growth. It may face pressure, darkness, and seeming resistance, yet the seed carries within it the blueprint of its full potential. So too, your inner self carries the blueprint of your highest expression, waiting for your recognition, your faith, your unwavering attention. Self-belief is the act of trusting this unseen blueprint with every fiber of your being. Consider the story of a traveler navigating a labyrinth in search of a treasure. The paths twist and turn, some leading to dead ends, others opening unexpected doors. Without belief in the possibility of reaching the treasure, the traveler falters, hesitates, and may turn back. With unwavering self-belief, however, each obstacle becomes a lesson, each wrong turn a guidepost, and every step carries the quiet assurance that the destination is already within reach. Self-belief transforms the journey itself, imbuing it with purpose, courage, and momentum. The essence of self-belief is consistency. It is not a fleeting surge of confidence that appears only when circumstances are favorable. It is the steady flame that burns regardless of external conditions. Imagine a lighthouse standing against crashing waves and relentless winds. Its light does not dim when storms rage. It shines precisely because it is anchored. Your inner belief must be anchored similarly, not dependent on evidence, results, or validation, but rooted in the certainty of your inner reality and the power of your consciousness. Self-belief is inseparable from inner alignment. When your mornings are aligned, your inner dialogue is mastered, your visualization is vivid, your gratitude is deep, your inspired action is flowing, your patience and trust are unwavering, and your conscious reflection is clear. Belief arises naturally. It is the natural byproduct of alignment, the confirmation that all the practices you have cultivated are effective, powerful, and real. Doubt weakens this force. Clarity and alignment strengthen it exponentially. Imagine a sculptor polishing a finished statue. Each stroke of the cloth reveals brilliance hidden beneath dust and rough edges. Self-belief polishes your consciousness, removing the residue of fear, limitation, and insecurity, allowing the brilliance of your true potential to shine. When you act, speak, or think from this state, the outer world cannot resist. The resonance of self-belief carries authority, magnetism, and momentum. Opportunities are drawn, challenges are met with grace, and results manifest in harmony with your inner certainty. Belief is not passive. It requires active cultivation and daily reinforcement. Begin each day by affirming your capabilities, envisioning your fulfillment, and inhabiting the reality of your highest self. Speak to yourself with authority, kindness, and clarity. Feel the emotional resonance of success, abundance, and joy. Let no external circumstance shake this inner conviction. The world mirrors what consciousness believes, what it holds without doubt, without fear, and without hesitation. Consider a bridge stretching across a vast chasm. Each plank, each cable, each bolt is critical. If any part is weak, the journey across is perilous. Self-belief is the structural integrity of this bridge. Without it, your steps falter, hesitation creeps in, and fear threatens to halt progress. With it, you cross confidently, assured that every step is supported, every move aligned, and every outcome unfolding as it should. Belief carries you across the chasm of doubt into the reality you have consciously imagined. Self-belief also transforms adversity. Life is filled with unpredictable events, setbacks, and challenges. Those who possess unwavering belief do not collapse under pressure. They adapt, pivot, and continue forward,
with certainty. Like steel tempered by fire, their inner strength becomes resilient, flexible, and unyielding. Challenges are no longer obstacles. They are catalysts that test, refine, and ultimately strengthen the power of your consciousness. Belief turns resistance into opportunity, failure into insight, and struggle into mastery. Now imagine a garden nurtured over months. Each habit, alignment, dialogue, visualization, gratitude, action, patience, reflection, has been a seed planted and cultivated. Self-belief is the sunlight that energizes growth, the water that sustains it, the atmosphere that allows the garden to flourish. Without this belief, the garden may grow, but slowly, inconsistently, and with risk of wilting under adversity. With unwavering self-belief, the garden thrives, expanding in vibrancy, abundance, and harmony, reflecting the inner reality you have cultivated. The final element of self-belief is surrender to inner authority. This is not surrender to fate, circumstance, or external opinion, but surrender to the intelligence of your own consciousness. Trust the inner guidance that has been honed through reflection, aligned with vision, inspired action, and anchored by gratitude. Listen deeply to the subtle nudges, insights, and intuitions that arise. They are the whispers of the life you are already inhabiting internally, inviting you to manifest it externally with clarity, precision, and confidence. Self-belief is a habit, not a feeling. Feelings fluctuate, circumstances change, and doubts arise. But the habit of belief, maintained consistently, reinforced daily, and practiced deliberately, creates an unshakable foundation upon which all other habits rest. It is the magnet that draws the invisible into the visible, the bridge between imagination and manifestation, the anchor of every transformative practice you have cultivated. As we prepare to move into the final habit, the practice of daily integration and embodiment, hold this understanding: self-belief consolidates all previous habits into an unbreakable force. It ensures that alignment, inner dialogue, visualization, gratitude, inspired action, patience, and reflection do not exist in isolation, but as a cohesive, magnetic field of creation. The next step is the culmination, the daily embodiment that transforms habits into a fully lived reality, ensuring that your highest vision is not merely imagined, but actively experienced. Step forward now with certainty, courage, and the unwavering knowledge that your inner power is sufficient, your alignment is true, and the reality you imagine is already preparing to manifest. Prepare to enter the final habit, daily integration and embodiment, the practice that transforms all previous work into living, breathing reality.
10. The habit of daily integration and embodiment. Imagine standing at the center of a vast cathedral, its ceilings arched high above, bathed in golden light that filters through stained glass windows. Every stone, every beam, every reflection of color contributes to the harmony of the whole. This cathedral is your life, the culmination of every thought, feeling, habit, and action you have cultivated. Daily integration and embodiment is the practice that brings all these elements into perfect coherence, transforming your inner alignment into living reality. It is the final step, the synthesis of all previous work, where imagination, gratitude, inspired action, patience, reflection, and self-belief converge to create a life of power, clarity, and profound fulfillment. Daily integration begins with awareness. From the moment you awaken, each thought, word, and action can either reinforce your alignment or divert energy away from your vision. Imagine a conductor leading a symphony, every movement precise, every gesture intentional, guiding dozens of instruments to play in harmony. You are the conductor of your consciousness. Each habit you practice, each visualization, each act of inspired action, each moment of patience and reflection is an instrument in your symphony. Daily integration ensures that every note is played consciously, in rhythm with the vision of the life you are creating. Consider the life of a master artisan, shaping a magnificent piece of art. The artist does not rely on a single skill or moment of inspiration. Instead, they bring together years of practice, observation, discipline, and refinement, applying them deliberately, consistently, and consciously. So too must you approach your life. The habits you have cultivated over days and weeks, the alignment of morning consciousness, mastery of inner dialogue, Vivid visualization, deep gratitude, inspired action, patience, reflection, and unwavering self-belief are not isolated achievements. They are tools. Daily integration is the deliberate application of all these tools to the creation of your lived reality, moment by moment, action by action, thought by thought. Integration is both an art and a discipline. It requires the conscious linking of inner experience with external behavior. Imagine a river that has flowed freely through varied landscapes. Its water carries life, its current shapes valleys, nourishes soil, and fills lakes. Yet the river's true power is realized when it flows in harmony with its banks, over rocks, through channels, and into open sea. Daily integration is the alignment of your inner current, your consciousness, habits, and intentions with the structure of your life. It ensures that energy flows effortlessly, purposefully, and harmoniously toward manifestation. Reflection, the habit we cultivated previously, plays a critical role in integration. Each day, take moments to review, observe, and adjust. Ask yourself, where am I fully aligned? Where does my energy drift? Where can I consciously embody the vision I am imagining? This is not a critique. It is an act of refinement. Like a gardener tending each plant in a vast garden, you notice subtle variations, nourish growth, remove weeds of distraction, and allow the full potential of your inner work to flourish externally. Daily integration ensures that no effort is lost, that every alignment strengthens the whole, and that every step contributes to the masterpiece of your life. Gratitude magnifies integration. Each moment of awareness, reflection, and deliberate action can be infused with gratitude for life itself, for the unseen forces supporting you, and for the vision already unfolding. Imagine sunlight streaming through the windows of your inner cathedral, illuminating every corner, highlighting every detail, and transforming ordinary space into sacred brilliance. Gratitude is that light. It animates your habits, elevates your consciousness, and draws the outer world to mirror your inner richness. When integration is suffused with gratitude, every action, every thought, every feeling resonates at the frequency of creation. Daily integration also strengthens resilience. Life will continue to present challenges, unexpected events, and moments of doubt. Yet when your inner world is fully embodied, when your habits are integrated seamlessly into your consciousness, you respond from strength rather than reaction, from clarity rather than fear. Imagine a ship navigating a storm. Its design, ballast, and structure are aligned to weather the wave. Daily integration is your ballast. It keeps you steady. Even when the seas of life surge unpredictably, you do not merely survive the storm, you navigate it with mastery, knowing that every inner alignment is reflected in every external response. Consider the power of embodiment. To embody a habit is not merely to perform it, it is to live it fully, so that it is inseparable from your consciousness, behavior, and perception. Visualization is embodied when you not only imagine, but feel, speak, and act as though the reality is already yours. Gratitude is embodied when it permeates thought, speech, and action. Inspired action is embodied when it flows effortlessly from clarity and alignment. Patience and trust are embodied when the currents of life move through you with calm assurance. Reflection is embodied when observation and insight inform each moment. Self-belief is embodied when inner certainty radiates outward, shaping circumstance naturally. Daily integration unites all these expressions into a seamless living whole. Integration also creates momentum. The habits you have cultivated are like gears in a well-oiled machine. When integrated consciously each day, energy flows continuously without friction or loss. Each thought aligns with action, each feeling reinforces vision, and each moment builds upon the last. The result is acceleration. Your inner state becomes magnetic, your external world responsive, and your life moves toward manifestation with increasing ease and inevitability. Momentum compounds, and what once required effort now flows as a natural consequence of your integrated consciousness. Daily integration is an active, ongoing practice. It does not demand perfection, but consistent attention. Begin each day with alignment, review your inner dialogue, visualize consciously, express gratitude, take inspired action, exercise patience, reflect consciously, and reaffirm self-belief. At the close of each day, reflect on how fully these practices were embodied, adjusting and refining where necessary. Over time, this continuous practice creates a state of consciousness
that is unshakable, radiant, and profoundly creative. Finally, understand this. Daily integration and embodiment transform all previous habits from isolated practices into the living reality of your life. It ensures that alignment, dialogue, visualization, gratitude, inspired action, patience, reflection, and self-belief are not just routines, they are the very fabric of your being, woven seamlessly into every thought, emotion, and action. This is the culmination of conscious creation. You do not merely imagine life, you live it moment by moment, with mastery, clarity, and joy. As you step into each new day, remember this. The life you desire is not distant, elusive, or separate from you. It is already reflected in your consciousness, waiting for your consistent, integrated embodiment to reveal it fully. By practicing daily integration, you bring the invisible into the visible, the potential into reality, and the imagined into living, breathing experience. Stand now at the threshold of your life, fully aligned, fully integrated, and fully embodied. Every habit you have cultivated, the alignment of mornings, mastery of inner dialogue, vivid visualization, deep gratitude, inspired action, patience, conscious reflection, unwavering self-belief, culminates here. Daily integration transforms all into a seamless, powerful force, creating the life you imagine with certainty, grace, and effortless flow. The journey does not end here. It begins anew each day. Each morning is an opportunity to reinforce alignment, refine embodiment, and expand momentum. Each evening is a moment to reflect, adjust, and celebrate growth. The habits you have cultivated are now your companions, your instruments, and your keys to mastery. Through conscious daily integration, life itself becomes the reflection of your inner brilliance, and every day becomes a masterpiece of creation, fulfillment, and profound joy. Step forward now, fully aligned, fully embodied, and fully aware, knowing that every thought, every word, every action is a deliberate stroke on the canvas of your extraordinary life.